It was a quiet Saturday morning in Denver, Colorado, the kind where the sun peeked gently through the curtains and the house hummed with the kind of stillness that only comes when everyone is either asleep or deeply occupied. I had just finished my morning run, something I tried to do at least 3 times a week, even though juggling motherhood, part-time work, and personal time often felt like a circus act. My name is Rachel Monroe, and I'm a single mom to a bright, kind, and sometimes too curious for his own good 17-year-old named Ethan. After my divorce from his father 5 years ago, Ethan and I had built a strong relationship, one based on open communication, shared experiences, and an unspoken bond that comes from surviving hard times together. Still, as he grew older, that line between childhood and adulthood seemed to blur more every day. That morning, I decided to do something I hadn't done in years, try on an old dress I used to love before life got so busy. It was a deep emerald green, fitted, elegant, and wrapped memories of happier, freer times. I had kept it tucked away in the back of my closet for sentimental reasons, but something about that day pulled me toward it. I slipped it on, marveling at how it still fit even if snugly, and stood in front of my full-length mirror, adjusting the straps and smoothing out the fabric. Lost in the moment, I didn't hear the knock on my door, or if there even was one. I was twirling slightly, smiling at my reflection, remembering how confident and radiant I once felt in this very dress, when the door creaked open. Ethan stood there, frozen for a second, his eyes wide in disbelief. I turned in surprise, but not in embarrassment. It wasn't like I was inappropriately dressed, I was fully clothed, after all. But I could see the shock in his eyes, the realization that I wasn't just mom in that moment, I was a woman. A woman with her own past, her own identity, and her own quiet glow. "Oh, sorry, Mom," he stammered, starting to back out. "I didn't mean to." "It's okay, sweetheart," I said gently, stepping away from the mirror. "You just surprised me. I didn't know you still wore stuff like that," he muttered, his cheeks flushing slightly as he looked away. I chuckled, easing the tension. "Well, I don't really. This was just a dress I used to wear when I went out with your dad, or to events. It's been years." He lingered in the doorway, half curious, half unsure. "You look really different in it. Like not even the same person. Is that a good thing or a bad thing?" I asked playfully. No, it's good. You look like you're from a movie or something," he said, sounding a bit embarrassed. I smiled warmly. "Thank you, Ethan. That's sweet of you." He paused for a moment longer, then slowly stepped into the room. "Why don't you ever dress like that anymore?" His question caught me off guard, not because of the curiosity, but because of how genuine it was. Most teens wouldn't care or notice what their moms wore, let alone question it with such sincerity. "I guess," I began, sitting on the edge of the bed, "after the divorce, I didn't feel like being that version of myself anymore. That Rachel was in love, excited, going to parties, dinners. I had to become a different kind of woman. One who worked, cooked, cleaned, and raised a son. But you can still be both, right?" he said, sitting beside me. His words stayed with me longer than I expected. For years, I had kept the glamorous part of myself buried, thinking it had no place in the world of PTA meetings and budgeting grocery bills. But Ethan, in his teenage wisdom, was right. "I suppose I can," I said softly. That weekend became a turning point, not just for me, but for our relationship. Over dinner that night, Ethan brought it up again. "You should go out again sometime, Mom. Like, have fun. You don't always have to just be here." "You think so?" I asked, half joking. "I know so. You've done everything for me since Dad left. Maybe it's time you do something for yourself." The vulnerability in his voice made me realize how much he'd seen and internalized over the years. He wasn't just a teenager anymore, he was growing into a young man who understood sacrifice and love in a way many adults didn't. Over the next few weeks, I made small changes. I started wearing clothes I actually liked instead of just what was practical. I dusted off my makeup kit, did my hair in styles I used to enjoy, and even joined a local book club just to get out of the house and meet people again. Ethan noticed every change and encouraged them. One afternoon, I came home from the book club, smiling and laughing about something another woman had said during the meeting. Ethan looked up from the kitchen table where he was doing homework and grinned. "See? That's the mom I was talking about." I chuckled. "You mean the one who doesn't look like she's been doing laundry all day?" "No," he said, shaking his head. "The one who looks alive." His words touched me deeply. I realized then that sometimes we forget how our children see us, not just as caretakers or rule setters but as people. And when we lose parts of ourselves, they feel that loss too. Months passed, and our bond only grew stronger. Ethan began opening up to me more about school, friends, even his awkward crushes. We watched movies together, cooked dinner side by side, and laughed like old friends. There was a deeper level of understanding between us now, built not just on parental love but mutual respect. One evening, I caught Ethan watching me as I applied makeup in the mirror before heading out to a small dinner party. He didn't say anything right away, but I could tell he had something on his mind. "What is it?" I asked, turning toward him. "I was just thinking," he said slowly, "how weird it is that it took me seeing you in that green dress to realize you were more than just mom. I mean, I always loved you, but that day, I saw you as a whole person. Someone with a history. Someone who deserves to be happy." I walked over and hugged him tightly. "Thank you, Ethan. That means more than you know. I'm just glad I walked in on you that day," he said with a grin. "Even if it was awkward." We both laughed, and I tousled his hair. As I left the house that night, I looked back at him on the porch and thought about how much we'd grown. That awkward moment, which could have easily been brushed off or forgotten, became the seed of transformation for both of us. Ethan saw me, and I allowed myself to be seen. That small permission opened a world of healing, rediscovery, and connection. Not just as mother and son, but as two people navigating life, together, with open hearts and open eyes. And for that, I'll always be grateful.